Oh, there we go. All right, I think we're live now. Look, we already have some comments.
Oh, that's cool.
Stacy said she's currently enrolled in this. So that may have been a comment from earlier, but from our pre-Facebook Live notice on Be Live that I've started to use because I'm so fancy.
I love it. I love it. Look at you, technology.
I know, but I can't figure out, like, it posts as soon as I schedule it. So if I schedule it a week out, I would like it to post multiple times. So I haven't figured that out, but
I wonder if you can like share it or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I could. Yeah, that's probably what I need to do is just like, but then that's not automated. I'm all about automation. So
same.
So this is the behind the scenes look at the chat with our guests. So we're glad you guys are here. If someone's on live, let us know. There's Courtney. Courtney's on vacation.
Courtney's tuning in while on vacation. We love that. Except hopefully you're doing something fun. All right, I'm going to go pull this up. Talk amongst yourself while I find this on Facebook.
So I think most everybody knows Jamie Popper from Blue 9, but we're super excited to have Jamie here today, who is going to talk about an exciting new program. So we're going to leave you in suspense for just a few minutes, but how are things going, Jamie?
I'm really excited about the program, and we've been so busy here at Blue 9. This program was actually filmed and edited, and a lot of all of that stuff was done back in December. But then also, when you launch a new program, then there's a bunch of other stuff that comes up with that as well. So, we've been busy.
COVID, and then we get COVID.
I know, and then COVID gets in the mix with all that. We've been busy with everything already, but having this course be launched is super exciting.
And I was at Iowa. Wait, Maquoketa. That's what I was like. I was in Maquoketa, Iowa, which is where Blue 9 Pet Products is headquarters. Was it last week? Last week.
Yeah.
It's a very, very nice place. Saw the warehouse, very cool. Saw Jamie's house, which is awesome. Saw Jess's house, who also works at Blue 9, which is awesome. Saw David's house, which is awesome. It was very fun. And learned how to say Maquoketa. But I do have to think about it still. So, all right, I guess we should get started. So we do have some people. Thanks for joining in here on our Facebook. And we are going to talk about the AKC Fit Dog Level 1 program, which I just completed the instructor program last night. So I'm super excited, and I feel like I know a lot more about the whole thing now because I just completed it, and I would highly recommend it, and which is a good thing. It would be bad to have scheduled this in advance, and then I took it, and I was like, wow, I don't recommend that. Wow. So luckily, I completed it, and I do recommend it. So anyway, if you have questions throughout the next, couple of minutes as we talk with Jamie a little bit about this program, just post them in the comments. We'll try to answer as many as possible. And I guess we'll just get started. So we will introduce, for those of you that just are joining us, Jamie Popper from Blue 9 Pet Products is our special guest. She actually is the instructor for the AKC Fit Dog Level 1 instructor program, which is one of the reasons I felt comfortable signing up for it, to be honest, because I've known Jamie for a long time. I've seen her teach so many different things from, personal one-on-one stuff. She's actually helped me teaching some things to my dog, and I've seen her teach at demos at different conferences and have just learned a little bit of her background to know she's just a really good teacher. So I guess we'll start with that, Jamie, is a little bit about why you wanted to do the program and a little bit about your background specifically with the fitness arena.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a degree in exceptional student education from the University of Central Florida. And I always like to bring that up because I think that it highlights why I'm so passionate about teaching. People can be really passionate and excited about dog training their own dogs, but actually taking that passion for working with dogs and transferring it to working with the humans can be a challenge. I know some really excellent dog trainers that have a hard time putting together curriculum that flows from point A to point B and accomplishes the goals that we want our students to be able to accomplish inside of our group classes. So that's a little bit about like my educational background. When I got into dog training though, I was competing in different sports with my dog, like competitive obedience, rally, and disc dog. And I learned about canine conditioning and fitness exercises. And so I was really interested in that kind of how can I help my dog perform to his best? How can I help prevent injuries in my dog? And so I started looking into canine conditioning skills, mostly just to benefit my own dog. And what I found was that there's actually a program out there. So I hold the Certified Canine Fitness Trainer credential through the University of Tennessee, which is a really rigorous program. So for any professional dog trainers that are out there that are like really passionate about it, that's a really rigorous, in-depth program. There's online components to it and a 3-day hands-on. So I definitely recommend that. And the AKC Fit Dog program was born out of seeing that professional dog trainers are wanting to teach a fun fitness class to their students. And I think that we see so much on the internet of people doing different exercises with their dogs and maybe don't understand everything that built up to our dog being able to do backflips and handstands. And so what I wanted was to provide professional dog trainers with a foundation of knowledge in order to be able to do fun fitness classes while minimizing the risk of doing anything that might be too challenging for a dog. It's really about building a relationship for pet owners and their dogs as well.
All right, I'm posting some links in the comment section.
Awesome.
So I will say that until I got more familiar with the AKC Fit Dog program, I actually didn't realize you had the canine fitness credential. So that I thought that was awesome. When I was watching the little introduction for the instructor program, I was like, that's very impressive. And my little story I always like to talk about is years ago, I guess my dog is 3 now, so I guess almost 4. So I guess about 4 years ago, I had emailed Jamie because I have never really taught a dog to sit up. And because he has a longer back, I was worried that I wanted to make sure I did it the right way. And so when Ranger was a puppy, I emailed Jamie and I just said, what should I know about teaching my dog to sit up to make sure he doesn't, hurt himself? And I sent her a little cute picture of Ranger like sitting on his bed in a sloppy sit, by the way. And so she like very politely and tactfully emailed me back and just said, or might have been through text or something, I don't know. But she sent me back, number 1, he needs a straighter sit. Number 2, don't do this on his bed. And it was just like the funniest thing because that wasn't even where I was going with what I thought she was going to tell me. And I needed much more help than that. But that was like, that point was one of the first things that made me realize there's a lot people can do that hurt their dogs, and you have no idea you're hurting your dogs. And since that time, I can't even tell you, and I've mentioned this to you before, Jamie, I can't even tell you how many people I've seen teaching their dog to sit up, and they're doing it on some kind of flexible, non-sturdy surface. And the dog does it, but you really have to think about how much of a strain that's putting on your dog's core, especially if they are a puppy. So I just think there's a lot to the whole helping your dog learn some of the fitness things that we can really mess our dogs up if we don't do it right.
Yeah, absolutely. Proper form in all of these foundation skills is critical for being able to progress your dog to higher level, maybe more interesting looking fitness exercises. Proper form, when we were looking at that, we're really analyzing teeny tiny muscle movements in our dogs. And so I think a lot of people look at that and they're like, that's not very exciting or fun. But advanced level trainers look back on the foundation skills that they've built up, and they know that that's why they were able to get to higher level or more advanced skills over time.
Yeah, and you actually mentioned that in the beginning of the instructor program, is you say, and this is so true, which I never thought about, but people that are just learning about dog training always want to teach the next level skills. Like they want to go on to the sexier stuff. And then sort of intermediate trainers want to do the advanced stuff. And then advanced trainers, like you just said, advanced trainers are like, what you really need to work on is the foundations. And those are the people that are going back to the basics and saying, start here and everything else becomes a lot easier. So I think that's cool. So talk a little bit about what is in the program. What kind of things are you teaching in the program, and a little bit about the purpose of that whole program for the AKC Fit Dog Instructor Level 1.
Yeah, so it was amazing to be able to partner with the American Kennel Club. They actually came to us and asked us if we could put this program together for them. And through collaboration, we worked together in order to design what the program ended up looking like. And the reason why the AKC Fit Dog wanted to bring this program on is they had just launched a Fit Dog program as a year or so prior to before we had started this conversation. And so the Fit Dog program, the goal of that was to get owners doing more with their dogs, getting out and walking them. So obesity in pets in the United States, over 50% of dogs are obese. And so they know that statistic, and they wanted to do something that would help encourage people to do more with their dogs on a fitness aspect. So the original plan for them was to a walking program. So if you walk a certain number of days each week for a certain length of time over the course of 3 months, all of the requirements are listed out on that page. Then you can submit your training log, and then you get a magnet that you can put on your car or your refrigerator that says that you have an AKC Fit Dog. They wanted to build on that, though, and start adding in some other canine fitness exercises, and that's where we came in. So to give kind of like a 30,000-foot level look at this, the AKC Fit Dog Instructor Program is an online class that you can take through the American Kennel Club. They have a canine college online. And it's designed for professional dog trainers that would be interested in teaching a 6-week-long group class on fun canine fitness skills. You can certainly repurpose a lot of the material that's in there, but that was the mind frame that we went into when we developed the program. So it might be that you want to just work on it with your dogs at home, or you might be an above average pet owner or pet professional, but maybe not necessarily a professional dog trainer. So you have some training background and knowledge or dog body language understanding. So you would be eligible to take this course as well. So what it is, it's a series of 7 different videos that walk you through step-by-step how to teach each week of the class for that group class. And then at the end of it, you also receive a 30-page ebook that goes through how to teach all of the skills, and then also like important tips and reminders for like how to best manage your group classes. So if you have, barky dogs in your class, what do you do? What should their homework be? That sort of thing. And then you also receive that 6-week class curriculum that's broken out into little chunks. So it tells you what to do for the first 5 minutes of class, how much time to spend on, the specific exercise for that week. And each week is broken down into a cardio or warm-up exercise, 2 strength or fitness skill exercises, and then a cool down, as well as other confidence building exercises that are sprinkled out between all of the weeks as well. So that's kind of an overview of what you get once you enroll in the program.
So from my perspective, Jamie, what I'm hearing, because, I'm not a dog trainer, but I'm a business person. So I'm thinking you can do this course for like $50. You're going to get curriculum, and you're going to be able to have a new revenue stream for your business.
Yes. So that's a really great point. That the course for this, in order to purchase access to over 90 minutes worth of video, a 30-page ebook, and a fully laid out group class curriculum is $50. That's a steal. Yeah. In order to get all of that information.
Right.
Yeah, and that's actually one of the things that I was telling Jamie prior to this is we do not have any the Doggaroos doesn't have any relationship with AKC, so we don't make any money off of you going and buying this course. I actually purchased the course myself so that I could go through it, and I didn't realize it had the curriculum. The videos themselves are awesome, and Jamie's teaching them, and I already know she's a really good instructor for all the activities that she's teaching. But I think you could use it multiple ways. I think definitely if you have a trainer on staff who can teach a 6-week group class, you have the curriculum. Literally for $50, you get a video of how to do everything, plus the curriculum. You have to understand how to manage a group class and that kind of thing. But there are tips for, you know, if you're already a trainer, you probably know some of that, and there are tips included. But you get the whole curriculum for $50. If you don't have, so that's a whole revenue stream right there, offering this Fit Dog program as part of your training services. The other way you can use it is when I signed up, I am an AKC evaluator, and I know it's sort of promoted as for an AKC evaluator to do another level of evaluation. I thought that I was going to have to sign in as an evaluator, but I didn't. When I signed up, anybody can sign up. Just go to the AKC website, and I put the link in there, and you can sign up. So the other way I would use it is I would have my enrichment team take that course, because for all of them, it is going to teach them how to safely utilize the climb, poles, like Cavaletti poles. It's going to help them to understand how to teach some basic things that you're already doing in enrichment without hurting the dog. So, and I think that's critical. One of the reasons that the dog gurus don't push a whole lot of conditioning stuff for enrichment counselors is because we do think there's a risk, and you do have to know a bit about the dog's anatomy and what you're doing with the dog in order to do true conditioning. But the exercises that Jamie's teaching is that I can guarantee you it's the stuff you're already doing and how to do it better by taking this course. And literally it's $50. And again, we don't make any money off of this. I'm just telling you because I took the course. I think it's good, and I think it's valuable for all of your staff to go through that course as well. So two kind of ways that I think that you could benefit from it. And you could even do an enrichment add-on that is strictly this 6-week program, but you're not teaching the pet parents. You're just promoting it, and you're doing it yourself, which takes away the whole need for the group class kind of management situation, but you're doing it as part of your enrichment program. So another revenue stream there as well. Do you want to go through some of the questions, Susan? Because I do think we have some in there.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of questions coming through. So they wanted to know, is this program similar to the one Do More With Your Dog?
So I personally have not taken that course. I have some familiarity with the content that's in there, but it is pretty different. It is not currently a titling program. It's possible that the AKC might take it that way and turn it into a titling program similar to like their Trick Dog program, but it's not currently set up that way. The other thing is that there is no other program out there that provides you with the curriculum. So if, you know, like I shared at the beginning, you know, there are so many dog trainers that love training dogs, but how do you get a student with their dog from point A to point B at the end? And if you love writing curriculum, you love breaking it down, each skill down into every teeny tiny little piece that there is in order to build the skill up over the course of 6 weeks, then absolutely those other programs are great. But if you're looking for a one-stop shop that has the educational videos in order to coach you step by step on how to train the behavior, not necessarily what the final behavior looks like, but the steps that go into how to train that behavior. And then also having the curriculum that lays out everything. The first 5 minutes of week 1, do this. The next 10 minutes, do this. The next 15 minutes, do this. If you're looking for that entire curriculum that is just pre-packaged up and ready for you to go, you can certainly change and modify it as you'd like to, as it works for you and your clients. But if you're looking for something like that, there's no other program that has it yet.
So I think you just answered the next question, because someone asked, do you still take this if you have the certificate as a canine conditioning fitness coach? And
yeah, so that's another one of that's the same Kira Sundance program. The exercises that we teach in our in this class are very different from the ones that are taught in Kira Sundance's class. So our program focuses considerably on the form of the dog as they're performing the behavior. So what does a balanced stand look like? Why do we want a fold back down into a sphinx rather than having the dog move their front feet into a down position? What's the difference between a tuck sit and a rock back sit? Why do we want a kickback stand rather than a 2-step forward stand? And so, you know, I think those kinds of questions, if that information sounds like, whoa, I have no idea what you're talking about, then I think that's the information that you need to know, and that this program is very different, and that we're looking at teeny tiny muscle movements, not just, you know, the gross motor movements of the dog walking over a peanut or something like that. We really want to teach specific foundation skills in order to get them to be able to engage different muscle groups as we cue the dog to engage those muscle groups. So it's a bit more in depth, I believe.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. There's a lot of information in there. For instance, a sit. That's a perfect example. Is I know how to teach a sit. My dog does not do a tuck sit. And I see the value of that if I'm going to be doing conditioning stuff with him to keep his form better. So I think throughout, that's really why I think daycares who are doing enrichment should take this, because it focuses so much on the form of the dog and how even something as simple as how you're treating the dog and how that can cause the dog to go out of alignment because they're looking for the treat or they're looking for you. And it's stuff that if you're going to do something repetitive with that dog every day they come to daycare, you really should understand. So I do think it's a little bit different of a focus. Even things like the which is basically the ending time of the class. They talk about doing an obstacle course. And of course, competitive obstacle courses are all about fast and speed and how quick you can go through it. But she really focuses on it being a slow exercise to help where you're watching the form and getting the dog to reinforce what you've been teaching them. So it's really a different focus that really helps to make sure that you're keeping the dog safe.
All right, and just to clarify again, do you have to be an AKC evaluator to do this course?
The program was designed for AKC evaluators. I'm going to leave it kind of at that. If you have a question on whether or not you're eligible to take the course, then you can email cjc@akc.org. Being an AKC CGC evaluator is obviously a great benefit as well, to be able to offer canine and citizen evaluations or even trick dog evaluations. So definitely encourage you guys to look into the other programs there as well.
Yeah, and I'm going to say I am an AKC evaluator. When I signed up, it asked me nothing about that. So as far as I'm concerned, you could just go to their website and sign up. There's nothing that says that's how you have to do it to be an evaluator in order to take the course. So I would say anybody can take the course. But yes, it does talk about how to evaluate dogs at the end. And it is written at a level of understanding a little bit about working with dogs. But I would say anybody can take it.
Okay. And that came from Robin, not Joanne. We'll clarify that. All right. So with COVID, are these classes something they could hold outside in the park with clients? And I guess we haven't talked about a lot of the equipment, so maybe talk about the equipment and is it important to go to the park?
Yeah, so some of the
I'll jump in really quick first, Jamie, to say that on the website when I took the course, the very first page talks about doing it with the COVID environment and actually talks about doing it where you're teaching via Zoom. So I think you could easily do it outside as well, but you can also do it for Zoom, and that's what they had talked about at the beginning of the course. But yeah, if you want to talk a little bit about equipment, that would be great.
Yeah, so some of the equipment that's used in the course are things like Cavaletti poles. There's a bunch of different vendors that you can purchase those through. And then we also use upside down rubber feed bins for working on teaching rear end awareness and pivoting skills. Those you purchase at any tractor and feed supply store or online. Then we also use a balance pad. This can be purchased online or at some sporting goods stores. And then the climb is also incorporated into the use of the class as well. So there's nothing that would be too challenging to use outside, like on grass or something like that. There's no equipment that would be likely to become damaged by the environment. So you can certainly, run this class outside. What I would recommend, especially during these times of COVID, is to make sure that you have enough equipment for each of the working teams so that you're not having them rotate between stations and trying to sanitize everything in between. So that might be something that changes a little bit as far as how you run your class.
Yeah, that's how my gym's doing it now. We have our 6-foot square we stay in, and we all have our own equipment. So keeping everybody safe.
Yeah, and I would say that for all classes right now, and we've talked about this before, is anytime you're having classes in person right now, the easiest way to manage the dogs is to give them all a platform to stay on. And so obviously we would recommend the climb, but it can be any platform. But by putting the dog, because then you're just creating their own space rather than having the owners who are like, oh, I'm, getting pulled over to that dog over there because they aren't paying attention to their dog. Teaching the dog to get on the climb and stay there is such a great COVID response. I would do that whether it's COVID or not, but it's a really easy way to work with the dogs in a group environment when you really do want to have social distancing happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
And and there's a question, how young would you start? And I assume maybe with the dog age.
Yes.
Puppies do it.
When you go through the course, it'll give you specific information on how young of a dog to work with and how to modify the exercises for working with dogs that are considered puppies. And pro tip, a puppy is any dog under the age of 18 to 24 months or any dog that doesn't have closed growth plates. So a lot of people just think of puppies as anything that's under a year, but most dogs don't have closed growth plates until 18 to 24 months of age. So we consider a lot of puppies that under 2 years of age. As far as when you can get started, you can do a lot of the stuff that we were working on in this course with an 8-week-old dog. But there's specific information on how to make sure that you're doing it safely with a puppy and not doing repetitive movements with a dog that doesn't have closed growth plates. Why is that a tongue twister today?
Jimmy, I always like, because I've had a real senior dog and I have a son who's now kind of senior, and we've heard that our enrichment activities are very popular. How about senior dogs going through classes?
Yeah, same thing. All of the safety recommendations are listed out in there. When you're looking at proper form, one of the biggest things that we look at is, can the dog achieve proper form with the exercise that we're doing? If the dog cannot achieve proper form with that specific exercise, then it's too challenging for the dog and we should go to a lower level. We also look at signs of fatigue. So leaving the training space or refusing to perform a behavior that we know that the dog knows how to do, excessive panting, anything like the dog shaking, overall hot body temperature, that sort of thing. All of those are signs of fatigue that people who go through this course are trained on what to look for and how to identify that. So there's a lot of low-level stuff that we can do with senior dogs, and it's great for them. Keep their bodies as active and as healthy as possible. Keep them moving is what we really want to do for senior dogs. There's definitely information in there to help tailor it for the individual dogs that come through the class or are in your enrichment program.
Yeah, and I love that there was one part in the videos yesterday when I was watching where you were teaching, I think you were teaching the down, and Rue, your dog, which you were using with, he kept rolling over onto his side, which I recognized he was doing it, but didn't think about it until you said he knows how to do this. The fact that he's rolling over onto his side means he's too tired, and so we're going to give him a break. And then you did another session, I guess, the next day because you said, now he's well rested, and it was totally different. So I think that's the kind of subtle thing that I think all of those enrichment counselors need to understand. If you're teaching this class, I think you need to understand. Because otherwise, I think we just get frustrated and we're like, stop, just sit straight without thinking they're not sitting straight because they're tired and, they're worn out or whatever. So I think really understanding some of those signs is so important because we have that dog in our facility for hours. And it's very likely that if they're playing and running, even if you give them, a 30-minute break and then you take them out again, it's very, very likely by the end of the day, they're too exhausted to do some of this. So really making sure that you're understanding what that kind of fatigue looks like in the dogs is important.
Yeah, definitely. I think, the other component to talk a little bit about the safety of things for our dogs as well. When we make human examples or human references, I think a light bulb moment goes off. So if we think about doing bicep curls, for example, so we're lifting weights, we're working out ourselves. if we do the exercise with improper form, at best, we're just working the wrong muscles. So, we're working a different set of muscles. But at worst, we are compensating with other muscle systems. And if we're compensating and overusing a specific muscle or tendon group, rather than the one that the exercise was designed for, we can put extra stress on that. So another example, and we all know this one too, is lifting something up. We should lift with our legs, not with our back. And that's because our legs are designed and have much more strength in them to be able to lift heavy objects. We're engaging a lot more muscle groups, including our core and some of the muscles along our back as well. But if we would just, bend over and lift up a heavy box, we're going to put excess stress on our back, and we're much more likely to injure our backs when we do something like that. So it's the same thing for our dogs, and they'll do it because we're asking them to do it, and they'll do it repetitively because we're asking them to do it and reinforcing them with their favorite treats and all of that. If they're not doing it with improper form, then they're going to be, one, working the incorrect muscles and what we're hoping to strengthen, or two, compensating, which leaves them susceptible to injury. So it's so important that we keep a close eye on that.
So we talked a little bit about that it can work really well for puppies, that it can work for senior dogs. Are there any dogs you would say don't do this course with those dogs?
Yeah, so thinking about dogs that are extremely overweight, any dogs that have previous medical conditions or injuries, any dog that is showing signs or symptoms of pain, and any dog that hasn't received any clearance from a veterinarian to be involved in an exercise program or cleared for like normal dog play. So if a dog comes up limping after running and playing really hard with another dog, that dog should, have plenty of time to rest from that injury and recover from that injury, and ideally should be seen by a veterinarian and cleared before coming back into a play group or entering into a fitness or enrichment program.
Yeah, and I would say this is really like fitness for fun, I guess you would say, the Canine Fit Dog program itself. And I think you would agree, but tell me if you don't, Jamie. This program, I would say you're not promoting it as something where you're doing conditioning with the dog, or you're setting out a goal to fix a problem or rehabilitate a problem or anything like that, because in my mind, that would be a totally separate program, and you would need totally separate training and skills to be teaching that. So, and also depending on your state, there may be laws involved with what you're calling it. So just really making sure that this is about helping the dog be in good shape, but you're not, on a program to do a specific type of fitness or conditioning. So I guess, would you agree with that?
Yeah, so it's definitely not rehab. I'm not even qualified to do rehab. And I'm a certified canine fitness trainer, and I've been doing this for about eight years now with my own dog. And I'm not certified to do rehab. Rehab is about helping a dog return to work after an injury. I don't have the medical knowledge in order to diagnose an injury or treat an injury or help a dog recover from an injury. So it's definitely not rehab. The other thing to think about is that if the owner has very specific goals, like I really want to work on my dog's jump form, or I want to increase the amount of strength that he has in his rear end so that he can power over the agility jumps, or I want to increase his cardiovascular strength so that he can run faster during our agility runs. If your owner has specific goals like that, then they really should see a canine conditioning fitness trainer through the University of Tennessee. To my knowledge, it's one of the only programs that is in-depth enough in order to help you craft a fitness program in order to achieve specific fitness goals. The AKC Fit Dog program is about having fun and increasing the fitness level of the dog overall. It's about teaching those foundation fun fitness behaviors with proper form so that the dogs are able to use their bodies in whatever job they have, whether that's a weekend warrior out hiking, or maybe someone who competes just for fun in agility or disc or something like that as well.
Yeah, and I think that's a huge distinction. So the good thing is I think that also makes it much less stressful.
Yeah. Yes.
Trying to have fun with it all.
We're accessible. We're teaching foundation skills, you guys. So there are people out there that have some of the other credentials, the canine fitness trainer credential, or some of the higher level ones that look at this and they're like, I don't know. Like, I'm a little worried about some of the skills or how it's being marketed. And yet when you look at it, it's things like nose touch and front feet targeting and rear end awareness for pivoting. And then the other foundation fitness skills of tuck sit, kick back stand, fold back down. A few other things are added in there as well. But again, we're not teaching how to train backflips and handstands. That's something that you can go to another trainer for. Pro tip, dogs can actually do that stuff. Rue knows how to do both of them. So I'm not just using that as like some sort of analogy or whatever, but the fitness skills that we're working on in this are a foundation level. They're safe enough for every dog to learn how to do.
I think it sounds like they're really good life skills, and we're getting more knowledgeable about having our dogs be fit, which again, seeing senior dogs that have a harder time getting in and out of vehicles, that you see the hind end weakness, that this is a preventative measure to have a better quality of life throughout their years. So I think it's something that's really exciting. And for someone who is not a trainer, doing something for fun is a lot more interesting to me to sign up for than some competitive programs.
Yeah. Great.
So Robin, how long did it take you to go through the course? Just for people that are trying to budget staff time or their own time.
It took me I took my dog for a walk in the middle. So
she was inspired.
Between an hour and a half and 2 hours.
Wow.
Awesome. And that included, like, I was on a mission though. I was like, and then so it's, I think 6 videos. I think it was 6 different videos, and each video is like 15 to 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So pro tip, and Jamie, you can't make fun of me because you told me about this pro tip the other day, is I did speed the videos up.
Yes.
So that 20-minute video might have only took me like 15 minutes because I was watching it at a higher speed. So as long as, then I would slow it down if I needed to go hear something again. But Jamie just talks really fast like this.
That is like a life tip, everybody. I feel like we really need to like explain this a little bit. So on videos, I think Facebook has it, YouTube definitely has it, and then inside of the AKC Fit Dog program as well. In the settings portion of the video, you can change the speed at which the video plays. And so I think you can do it at 1.25 times the speed, 1.5, and 2 times the speed. And so 2 times the speed is too fast for most people, unless they talk like this and enunciate all of their words. Like news broadcasters do. But anyway, so for some people, I can speed it up to 1.5 times and I can still understand everything that they're saying. And it cuts the view time of the videos in half.
Yeah.
But as far as getting through the AKC Fit Dog program, the videos are, a maximum of, I think, 22 minutes long. Most of them are about 15 minutes. And there's 6 of them. Some of the, reading material that's added in there. So if you're just working on that, you can definitely get it done in 2 hours. Or you can break it up.
There is a quiz after each. There's a quiz after each module, and you have to get. The first quiz was 20 questions, and I think the rest were 7 to 10. And you have to get 80% on those in order to continue on. So you do that, and then I would say I skimmed the PDF. So the PDFs are amazing, and I saved all of those. But yeah, you could easily get done with it within 2 hours without a problem. I will say the only thing, and I do think the speeding up the video helped. I will say that I would slow it down during some of the demos because the demos are probably the most valuable part of the video. So if you have not worked with a lot of dogs, obviously I'm a trainer, so some of the stuff that Jamie was teaching I'd seen before, but some of it, like I said, the tuck sit and the fold down, like I don't teach that. So those were really valuable. So the demos that she's doing are huge. And that's really the whole video is her teaching with various dogs. So you can actually see what you're supposed to be doing, including like times when the dog doesn't do it. And she's like, okay, here's what we're going to do to fix that. So the videos I thought were super valuable.
It was so fun working with the dogs that came up for that video shoot too. And some of it, like Rue, it was hard when he would become fatigued. He was like, he's my go-to. So if I couldn't get some of the other dogs to do it in the time frame that we had for the video, we'd have to let him rest and then bring him back out in order to be able to film that specific component of it. But it was really fun working with other dogs that don't necessarily know these skills and troubleshooting it on live on camera.
And super cute French bulldog, by the way, super cute.
Her name's Sushi, and I swear I'm going to steal her the next time that she's around.
Yes, she's adorable. All right, so Dee Dee just said, I was actually going to say this, Dee Dee, too. Once we get up and running, has anyone had success with running an AKC Fit Dog Club? I just looked it up on the website. They started that program about 2 years ago, and I do think it would be worthwhile. I know in my area, when I was doing when I had my dog training business in Virginia, there were a couple of facilities that just did hikes, and literally they would charge for people to come together in a parking lot and go walking somewhere. I was like, this is like the most brilliant thing. And the trainer is there. And we did this at our facility too, when I saw other people doing it, that I would not take my dog. I would be the instructor, and I would, gather the people together, and we had a limit of 7 to 8 dogs typically. And we just go for a walk. But people would pay to have that experience to get exercise and that kind of thing, which essentially is what the AKC Fit Dog program, how it started, was really for pet parents to go on a walk with their dog and then say they did that walk. And you could create a club where you were doing a couple of walks a year, and they had, bling that they would give you, little patches and things like that. So I don't know if anyone who is on here, or if Jamie or Susan know of anyone that's done it with AKC.
I also haven't done it with the AKC, but I do remember those. A lot of them called them pack walks. And I think that that's a really great way to build customer loyalty. It's a great way to get together with them kind of off the clock and outside of a really formal setting of your business, and kind of get to know them a little bit more on a personal level as you guys are going for a walk or a short hike, or maybe just practicing a couple of fitness skills in the park. I think that is an awesome way to build that customer loyalty and more of a relationship with your clients.
Yeah, and I think right now with COVID, people are looking for things they can do with their pets outside, and some people don't have the confidence to go out without a professional with them. So I think there's definite value that you can provide as that leader, and then just giving them tips about behaviors you see or how they're handling in a kind way is also added value for all of the pet parents, helping build that relationship.
Yeah, I think the confidence was one of the main reasons that pet parents would show up to that class, is they just wanted someone along to help them if their dog acted like a lunatic or was pulling a lot. And we would obviously give tips on that, either tools they could use or methods they could use to help with training. Dee Dee just asked how much I charged. I don't know, Dee Dee. Depends how much it costs me to run it. Like that's my common thing. No, I charged, it was relatively low. I want to say like $20. It was a relatively inexpensive course. Part of that was because, as Susan just said, or maybe it was Jamie that just said that. Somebody just said it. I actually used that as a loss leader to get clients. So for some people, that was the first way they heard about us, is they would come to those walks, and then I would get them into class. So I made money that way. But we also did an outdoor adventure course, which was multiple outdoor classes, meeting in different locations. Sometimes it was a walk. Sometimes it was like going through Home Depot or Lowe's or going to Starbucks or whatever. And that was a couple $100, but that was a multiple class option.
Yeah, I think the key is to make sure everywhere you're going is dog friendly and people are accepting them, and that you have clear expectations to the pet parent as to what skills their dog should have to participate in something like that. But then again, you can feed those foundation skill programs so people get ready, because people want to do the fun stuff, So it's a great way to say, if your dog can, not bark or lay down and be quiet, you can come do these fun things, and encourage people to go through some of the routine that's always maybe not quite as much fun.
So Jackie said, what was the course you took at UT?
The University of Tennessee is oversees the Certified Canine Fitness Trainer program. So if you look up the Certified Canine Fitness Trainer program, that's probably where you'll find most of the information, but it's backed by the University of Tennessee.
Awesome. Well, I think anything else that we didn't cover that you want to talk about in terms of the program, I'll throw that back to Jamie first.
Yeah, I guess what I would say is that if you're not quite ready to invest the $50 into taking that course, we still have a ton of free educational resources available on our website and our YouTube channel, which is through Blue 9 Pet Products. So Blue 9 Pet Products and AKC teamed up to create this Fit Dog instructor course that's hosted by the American Kennel Club. But we also have some other canine fitness training exercises that we have on our YouTube channel. So if you go to youtube.com/Blue 9 Pet Products without the dash, then our YouTube channel has a whole canine conditioning playlist. So if you just want to dabble in it with your own dog and learn a little bit more about it there, then you can do that before you invest in taking the program.
Okay, one last question before we go. Debbie said, you mentioned the course comes with a curriculum. What about liability waiver? Any special considerations?
So what I would recommend is that you consult with your own lawyer in order to determine what is most appropriate for your business. I would also say that any liability waiver that you have for a group class that you have your students go through already, you can certainly just edit some of that with the help of someone that has a lot more legal experience than me.
Yeah, and I would say as a dog trainer, the liability statement that I had would have covered it. I would definitely check with your lawyer. And I think for enrichment, in terms of using it for enrichment, again, you should already have a liability waiver for dogs coming into play and coming in and doing activities with you. So theoretically, that should cover it as well. But I would definitely, for both of those, have a lawyer review them too. But I don't think there's any special considerations in the sense of, because you're not doing rehab or all those things that we talked about before, I don't think there's any considerations in that sense. So, and then Jen said, Blue 9 is my go-to YouTube channel. Really great. Awesome, Jen. That's great. Well, we totally appreciate you having you here. I am a big fan of Blue 9, as is Susan, and not just because they have great products, but because they're great people too. Obviously, I would not have spent 3 days with them last week having fun if I didn't really like them and like the company. And for those that are not familiar with Blue 9, they sell the Climb platform, which we recommend. And if you're doing enrichment, we recommend you get several of those for your enrichment program. They also have the balance harness, which we don't talk about as much, but if you're going to do those kind of walks, that's a good tool to have your clients use, because it does help to help the dogs learn to walk better and help the pet parents get a little bit better control. They also have some amazing leashes. I have everything. They also have, I've just gotten all mine out. I could show you all of them. They also have an amazing treat bag, which I have been using treat bags for 20 some years. Theirs is the only one I use anymore because it really is a great treat bag, and they sell treats. So lots of stuff that they have, and always developing new stuff. So definitely check them out. I put the link in there. And if you want to talk more with other pet facility owners, definitely check out the Dog Gurus Facebook group, which I'm putting a link in the comment on that too. That's just a free group that we have other businesses on there and pet care business owners on there to talk about things that they're doing and just learn from each other. So you're welcome to join us on that group. You have to be nice and you have to not sell stuff. That's our 2 rules. We will kick you off if you are mean. We will kick you off if you sell stuff. So otherwise, it's a really great group. Anyway, thanks so much, Jamie, for joining us. We really appreciate all of that you've done, and we love the program, and I definitely do recommend the instructor program for everybody. So any last comments from Susan?
No, just go have fun.
Thank you guys so much for having me on. Really appreciate the opportunity to share more about it.
Sure. Thanks for joining us. Talk to you guys later.
See ya.